So the WNBA just announced their unrestricted free agents. And obviously, all the players on this list played in the WNBA last year, except for one. There is a player that is still on this list. Again, probably meaning she is not retired. Because as far as Taurasi's there as well. Either way, Elena Delle Donne. She was cored last year and basically just held out by the Washington Mystics. The fact that Elena Delle Donne is there is huge. It is absolutely huge. And if you're Indiana, you're going for it. And again, look, supposedly with Kelly Kowskrupp, she is like, from everything I've read, she's one of these like out of the box thinking GMs. Like, she's not gonna go. Basically everything we've read, it's unlikely that she's gonna go. I've ever read about her, it's unlikely she's gonna go for Satu. It seems like she's more of a, let me go for a value player and let me try fit around Caitlin Clark, not just sign the best talent. And she wants vets. And there is a non-zero chance that Elena Delle Donne ends up on the Indiana Fever this year. And Elena Delle Donne, at this stage in her career, could be such a good offensive weapon at the power forward position for the Indiana Fever. Like, she could be a 15 point per game scorer on 50, 40, 90 shooting. And yes, the defense isn't going to be anything spectacular, but you're going to have at least a high IQ player who's going to figure it out, at least on that end, and can't be worse than Alyssa Smith at the forward position. Can't be worse defensively than Alyssa Smith. If you guys don't know who Elena Delle Donne is, she had 2 or 3 time MVP, but she's won championships. She was like absolutely superb as a player, one of the greatest players of all time. She was a 6'5" 2 guard who was 50, 40, 90 and is only 30. She was drafted in 2013. So she's 34 years old now, after being one of the greatest college players ever, and was the best player in the 2013 draft, in a draft that included Brittany Griner. So that's how good Elena Delle Donne has been. And the only reason Elena Delle Donne didn't play last year is because she didn't want to play for the Mystics. No team she wanted to play for, she was cored, and no team she wanted to play for offered the Mystics anything of note. So she just sat out the year. Like, the Mystics wouldn't let her play anywhere else, and because of that, she just didn't play basketball last year. So yeah, still borderline all-star level player even at this stage. So I was reading this article from Bleacher Report, and it was like 5 crazy moves we would like to see. I'm like, most of these aren't crazy moves. First of all, like Satu Sabally to the Liberty is almost certainly going to happen. Like, that is a near certainty that Satu Sabally goes to the Liberty. Bree Jones to the Aces. The Aces can't afford Bree Jones without letting Kelsey Plum walk for basically nothing. Bree Jones is going to be a max player, but Bree Jones or like Griner, if they decide to play for 150k, and the wing or the Aces can, heck, the Aces, every player in the Aces gets 100k. So if they go and they might play for, instead of 150k somewhere else, they might play for 75k to play for the Aces. And then they get their 100k from the tourism board. So you never know. But like Bree Jones is a super player to have next to the Aces. The Aces don't play up tempo. They kind of do play with that inside presence, and her beside Aja could be good for winning. It's not going to get Aja 30 points a game because there's no spacing there, but not the worst player in the world. And she's a good interior scorer. Emma Mason onto the Sun only happens if one of two things happens. If Bree Jones leaves, or if Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner leave. That's the only way it happens. Because I remember seeing, was it the ESPN? It was like predictions, like the best fit. And it's like, they said the best fit for Bree Jones was staying in Connecticut. The best fit for Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner was staying. And then the best fit for Mason was Connecticut. And I'm like, do you want the best player on that team to come off the bench? Or are you benching max contract Bree Jones? Or are you benching Alyssa Thomas? Like, you can never have too many high IQ players on the one team. So I think Mason and Alyssa Thomas would work, but Alyssa Thomas would have to play center. Like, it would have to be Alyssa Thomas at the 4, Mason at the 5, And Mazian, I think, could run a really nice offense with the two of them. Like, I think that could be the best offense in WNBA. If you put DeWanna Bonner, Dejanay, and Marina Mabry around them, because the Mazian offense, the one that he's probably going to try to run, the European style motion, doesn't really rely that much on a point guard. It does rely on a point guard, but it relies on a playmaker, which Alyssa Thomas can be technically the point guard in that offense. So like Emma Mason was in the Olympics. But obviously Emma Mason has talked about coming back to WNBA. But the interesting one here, obviously, is the Fever add former All-Star. Previously written about the prospect Natasha Howard joined the Fever. She remains a quality pick, hell of a screener and reliable post threat. Not like she's basically a little bit better defender than Alyssa Smith, and she cuts a bit better on offense. But it says here, Delle Donne didn't play, so we're investigating what Delle Donne and the Mystics want to do, because she's still quite effective. Last time we saw her, she's not going to play for the Mystics. The Fever would represent a situation where Delle Donne can slot into a high-powered offense rather than be the driving force of one, playing off gravity from Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. She could also take the pressure off those stars. The ability to shoot and pass would be like, she would be absolutely incredible. And like, you would have to, like, the stretch four is what the team needs on the offensive end. The problem is that the stretch four who plays defense does exist. There are two really good ones. The Fever don't. The Fever got rid of both of them. And Emily Engstler would be perfect. Alana Smith would be perfect. The Fever had both of them and cut both of them. Lynn Dunn, dear Lord, like, some of the decisions she made is crazy. But Elena Delle Donne, what she would do to the Fever's offense is probably make it the best offense ever in the WNBA. Because, like, Melissa, like, she's going to shoot 7 wide open threes a game just because of gravity. And she makes 3 of them. That's 9 points. She's still going to get hers for probably 6 more points. And you're adding 15 points on probably an equivalent amount of shots to what Alyssa Smith took last year. And she's going to make her free throws. So you're just looking offensively, it's such a good fit. It is such a good fit on offense, because you either need that power forward to be a cutter or a spacer. You can get away with a cutter in the way they like to play, because even if you're not the best shooter in the world, if you're a really good cutter, you can still kind of take advantage of gravity in the same way as a spacer and shooter can. But you've got a super high IQ player who's going to shoot the lights out, who's going to give you size. And yeah, her best years are behind her, but Elena Delle Donne's going to want to win a championship. Like, she's not someone that's going to look to go to LA. She's not someone that's really going to look to play in the limelight. She's going to want to win a championship. And realistically, unless she goes to the Aces, and you know what? I think the Aces and the Fever are equally as attractive as far as winning a championship are concerned. And she will shoot way more open shots for Indiana. If you're looking to go to win a championship and you're not looking to join teams already won one like the Liberty or the Lynx, which, to be fair, her and the Lynx would be a cheat code as well. Like, Elena Delle Donne, any of the Lynx, Aces, Fever would be unbelievable. And if you were a Kelly Cowscroft, like, you've, not that they struck out on Satu, it's looking like Satu's almost certainly gone to Liberty. Elena Delle Donne would be a hell of a pickup.